19 keys, and this is high-level conversation. Library.
He said the first law of the universe was motion.
Mm-hmm.
And the second law was order.
Yes, sir.
I haven't even heard him teach on a third or fourth law. He's only put them two out. So once you got motion, you have to have order, because without order, the motion becomes chaos.
Yes, sir.
And chaos is not constructive, it's destructive.
Yes, sir.
So that's how we have to do with our lives. We have to have order in our lives, and the order of life starts off with the moral order that comes from divine law, statutes, and commandments. And the more righteous we become, the more powerful we become. Something we shared in this book that I got from the minister that another point, Brother Keys, blew my mind. Because all my life I've been taught knowledge is power. So all I got to do, put a lot of knowledge in my head, I'm going to be powerful. But on page 92 of the book Torchlight for America, the minister said this, paraphrasing. He said that the true and real power of the mind comes from righteousness. When you can lay down at night knowing that you have not violated any of the laws of God nor the rights of your fellow man, then that kind of mind has the power to vision and bring into reality what it visions. So I'm thinking opposite what, most people say, just get a lot of knowledge, but you got to also multiply it by righteousness. And he said this, he said, character is the sea by which knowledge floats. He said, if you have knowledge, but you don't have any character, just imagine a ship in shallow water. It can't go nowhere. So it is when we don't have a life of character. If we have knowledge, but we don't have our morals, we don't have our character in place, then the ship of our knowledge won't be able to get from where it is to where we want it to be. So those are some of the spiritual systems of order. We got to look at the restrictive laws of Islam. We got to look at the Sharia law. We have to look at the 10 commandments. We have to look at the law, statutes, and commandments and the habits that God gave in scripture and organize our life accordingly. And from that righteousness,
yes, sir,
our mind is going to have more power, and we'll have the ship of knowledge floating on character. It didn't go anywhere it wants to go.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I definitely believe that 100%. The moral quality of your life is your success, right? Yeah. And because that's where you're going to produce heaven or hell for yourself. Nobody outside of self has to punish you for a thing, right? That reinforcing system that tells you shame or guilt, right? That's going to be the one that punish you and produce hell for you.
That's right.
And you're going to be, no matter how much money you got, no matter how much exterior success, if the inside of your house is unclean, right? Then it's not worth much.
Right.
You walk in there, you have to clean up that house. That's the first thing. If somebody bought it, they know it's you come work for somebody, and they want to bring out your potential. Well, they got to clean you up first, right? So that they can coach you into your higher self, because one can see it, but if you can't be it, then it don't matter.
Right.
But you talk about the human potential, and you often utilize physics, right? And when we talk about physics, it's really the science of the unseen, right? But it is a way for man to make logic, right, with that dimension of the universe.
Right.
And specifically, we talk about physics, we go back to thought, right? We're living in the age now of quantum machines, right? They're trying to figure out who's going to be the first one to crack these quantum machines, because you look at artificial intelligence, it's like them mapping the brain.
Right.
And quantum machines is like them mapping the mind. Right? Where you can't go to a scientist and ask them exactly how the mind works.
Right.
There's too many areas of the brain they don't understand, right? And the absence and the ignorance on the mind is vast.
Right.
So even when they built these quantum machines, they're still not going to understand how it operates. The goal of it is to do things that we don't understand and to solve problems that we can't solve. But you talk about even when we go into quantum thinking, right? How does one get to that higher essence of God thought, to where, I know we talked about tuning in, but are there other gifts? Right? Are there skills that one can, train and produce within themselves while living to start producing that higher quality of quantum thinking.
That, you know, the way of saying quantum is really a scientific term that means thought.
Mm-hmm.
So where they even got the concept of even being able to find out that there was a subatomic particle was the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
In the lessons, he said in problem, look, Mr. Muhammad cracked an atom into 10 million
we do say
parts.
cracking atoms.
All that time.
Yes, sir.
Before then, now everybody said the atom was the smallest particle of matter. But now Mr. Muhammad is saying, no, you can crack the atom into 10 million parts, and every part will still have the same power and ingredients that the other part had that it came from.
Yes, sir.
He said the whole universe could be found inside of that atom. So once they learned that, oh, wait a minute, okay, that let me see if we can do it. They built the machine, cracked it, and then they went from atom, they found quark.
Mm-hmm.
Then they cracked quark. Now they call it quantum. But that's only 2 cracks. It's still 9,998,000 more cracks that could be gone, and you still will have the power in that unit you find. So they just scratching the surface of the wisdom that God gave to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So if there is to be one that can get into that God mind, that quantum mind, we're going to have to get it from the man that first taught us that the God mind even existed on that level. And I would submit it would be the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the minister. So practical application for us on the human level. The God within. Every religion talks about this thing called the God within. But most people, if you ask them, what is the God within? I don't care if it's a bishop, preacher, a sheikh, a bulla, they will describe like an invisible ghost version of themselves inside their body. But the minister said this. He said the God within is not a ghost inside of your body. He said the will of God is the gift of God to man, and that is the essence of God. Will. Then he said that will is buttressed supported by faith and knowledge, springs forth out of love, and is guided by love. So peel all that back. Now he's given us the 4 primary ingredients of what make up the God within. Willpower, faith, knowledge, and love. So if I want to get into that God mind and become more of a God where I can say be, and it is, and it don't take 7,000 years, it can happen in 7 minutes, like the Supreme Being can do, I've got to increase my faith, my knowledge, my willpower, and I got to do what I do with more love. And the more of these 4 ingredients we build up inside of ourselves, the more God gets strong in us, and we can begin to achieve things that we didn't think we could achieve. Because what can't God do? Well, whatever God can do, we can do.
Yes, sir.
If we develop him inside of us. So we are the underdeveloped gods with the potential to be a God. And if we increase in that faith, that knowledge, that willpower, and that love, the God power will get big.
If you're going to jump into crown society, you're saying that I represent power, I represent knowledge of self.
Stepping in the name of drip, get ready with me. Stepping in the name of drip, get ready.
I wear the crown to just symbolize, like, I know who I am, I know why I'm here, I know my purpose.
It's abundance, it's royalty, it's prosperity, it's energy.
Put in.
Yeah.
I gotta walk with my head held high because you gotta see this and you gotta see this.
I believe that if anybody wants to be able to protect their mind and be able to think freely, you gotta get Crown Society today, man.
Neo after the blue pill, the color palette's all black. James Bond mixed with Malcolm X in my Che Guevara era.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is High Level Conversation.
Library.